Hello, children. I hope you are all doing well and you have started to learn what and all I have already taken. And last class we discussed about so many diseases, airborne, vector-borne diseases, and how to preventive measures, etc. Today we'll see about immunity and what are the types of immunity and about vaccination, immunization, and structure of immunoglobulin, etc. Okay, this is also a very important topic, and at the end of the session I will give you some homework which you can follow my homework. Okay, immunity. What is immunity? I think you are familiar with immunity. The overall ability of the host to fight against the disease causing organisms, that is pathogen. Our body to fight against a pathogen, that is done by your immune system, which is known as the immunity. So our body will fight against the pathogens, that is the disease causing organisms. That is done by our body, by our immune system, and that is known as immunity. This immunity is of two types. One is natural. Natural is innate immunity, and another is we are acquiring the immunity during our lifetime, that is acquired immunity. First of all, we'll see about innate or natural immunity. In this innate immunity, it is a non-specific type, general, non-specific type of defense mechanism. It is not for a particular pathogen. It's generally for all the microorganism. Non-specific type of defense mechanism that is present right at the time of birth, and it consists of four barriers. We'll see about the four barriers. First of all, the physical barriers that is naturally present in our body. Physical barrier. Skin is the main barrier which prevents entry of microorganisms, that everybody knows. Skin intact, it's a main defense for our body which can prevent the entry of microorganisms. Then the mucous coating of the epithelial lining of the respiratory system, gastrointestinal system, urinogenital tract, all these you have a mucus coating, and it's a first line defense mechanism which helps in trapping microorganisms entering our body. That's all about the physical barriers that is naturally present in our body. Then it is about the physiological barriers. Physiological barriers that is also present inside our body, that is acid in the stomach. You know, HCl, acid in the stomach, which kills a lot of pathogenic microorganisms, and saliva in the mouth, tears from the eyes, all are present in our body. They will prevent microbial growth. Then we have a cellular barrier. We have cellular barrier. I'll show some pictures for this cellular barrier. And some of this, WBC, they play an important role in producing plays an important role in our defense mechanism. These certain types of WBC, like polymorphonuclear leukocytes, that is PMNL, neutrophils, it's a kind of WBC. You can see it's a kind of WBC. It is a monocyte. Next we'll see that neutrophils, that is PMNL, polymorphonuclear leukocyte. This is next also kind of a WBC which plays an important role in the defense mechanism, and this also. And then the next we'll see next cell. This are natural killer cells. Monocyte we saw first, monocytes, and this is a natural killer cells. It's a type of lymphocytes in the blood. They're naturally present in our body. This natural killer cells, it's a type of cyte. It's a lymphocyte actually, cytotoxic lymphocytes, and they produce it's an immune cell present in our body, and these cells produce they actually release small cytoplasmic granules of proteins which can target the antigen. So they are natural immune cells. They are otherwise we can say cytotoxic immune cells, because they produce cytoplasmic granules of proteins which can kill the pathogen and plays a significant role. Natural killer cells. and you have we saw monocytes, natural killer cells, and macrophages. These are macrophages, natural killer cells in the blood, and these macrophages are present in these tissues, cells. And all these cells, what is the role is they phagocytose. They phagocytose and destroy the microorganism. This is known as a phagocytose. How means you can see, imagine it's all our cells. The antigen gets stuck, and slowly the antigen they injected the antigen, they take it inside the antigen or the antigenic protein ingested, and it goes inside, it gets digested or destroyed. That is what phagocytose, and they destroy the microorganisms. And the next barrier is cytokine barrier. We are still with the innate immunity. Next barrier is the cytokine barrier. Virus infected cells secrete proteins called interferons, which will protect non-infected cell from further viral infection. This is interferons. Actually, it is a kind of protein released by animal cell or even human cell, usually in response to the viral entry of virus. When a virus enters our body, this kind of special protein will be released, which are known as interferons, that will inhibits further viral replication, stops. So they are, it protects the other cells from further viral infection. If a viral enters our cell, only this kind of protein will be produced. They are known as interferons. All these comes under innate immunity. Okay, this next we'll see about acquired immunity. Acquired immunity. Acquired, I already said acquiring. You are gaining or you are acquiring immunity during your lifetime. It is pathogen specific for a particular pathogen, a kind of particular immunity. It's not non-specific, it is specific. It is pathogen specific. And it is characterized by memory. Your immune system, it is characterized by memory. This I can now show you. That is, you have two types acquired immunity. You have two types of response, that is primary immune response. You can see the picture, and the secondary immune response. See what happens here when our body encounters a pathogen for the first time. It produces a response which is known as a primary immune response. Here you can see in the picture antibody concentration, initial exposure to the antigen. First time your body recognizes the antigen, the first kind of response given will be very slow. It will not be that high, but anyway it will be giving. Okay, for the first time it produces the antibody produced in your body, it will be of low intensity. That is known as a primary immune response, which is of low intensity. Then it encounters the same pathogen. When it encounters it for the same pathogen for the second time, it elicits a highly intensified secondary or anamnestic response. That will be very high, and it will succeed in killing the antigen. So the antibodies will be more strong, and it can encounter the antigen. That is what memory. When the second time the same antigen encounters your body, your antibodies will be high enough to encounter the antigen. So it can recognize. This shows our body appears to have memory of the first encounter. So only when the same pathogen comes for the second time, the body will identify it and it produces more number of antibodies. You can see in the picture secondary immune response how high it goes, first how low. So this kind of response, the primary immune response and secondary immune response, both are carried out in our body by two special kinds of cell which are known as the T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. I'll tell you about the T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. You can see the differences between the picture is given, but I will also give the explanation. Differences between B cells and T cells. See, B cells I attack invaders outside the cell, that is, it is present in the blood, I attack invaders inside the cell. Actually, what is happening here is the T cells do not secrete any antibodies but help the B cells to produce them. The B lymphocytes also, what happens, it gets changed into plasma cells. The B lymphocytes gets changed into plasma cells. The plasma cells gets modified to produce a special type of protein which are nothing but the antibodies in response to a pathogen, particular pathogen into our blood. So the B lymphocyte produce an army of proteins in response to the pathogen into our blood to fight with them. So these proteins are called as the antibodies. That is the difference. So T cells help the B cell. The B cell gets converted into plasma cells to produce a production of a protein that is known as the antibodies in response to a particular pathogen. And they try to destroy it. Okay, so that is the differences between B cells and the T cells. Then we'll see about the structure of antibody molecule. Structure of antibody molecule. The picture is in your book. Anyway, first I will give the explanation, and you can see your book also. Each antibody molecule has 4 peptide chains. Peptide means you know it is a polypeptide chain. That is a 2 small chain you can see, and 2 small chain are known as a light chain, and 2 longer chain known as the heavy chain. Here these are the heavy chain and these 2 are the light chain. These are the heavy chain. Here you have the disulfide bond here. This part is known as a hinge region, and you can see this, the topmost is known as a variable. I will give the explanation what is this variable. This is the antigen binding site where the antigen gets binded with this part. This is the variable region. Down region is known as a constant region. So I will explain what is a variable and constant region. Anyway, your book picture also I will show later on. First one is a variable region. I said that is known as the FAB region. Actually, the variable region is known as the FAB region. It specifically interacts with the antigen, this region, variable region. Why it is variable means, you know, the whole of the thing is a polypeptide chain, nothing but peptide molecules. Here the variable, the amino acid sequence varies. The amino acid sequence varies. That means sometimes amino acid sequence undergoes mutation and structure varies. This is according to the nature of the antigen. So in order to attack the antigen, sometimes it shows variation, changing in the amino acid sequence. So that is constant. The FC region, down is known as FC region, that is known as a constant. Here the amino acid sequence remains constant. So that is the difference between this variable and the constant region. And you have the different types of antibodies, that is antibody, it has got represented by H2L2, that is heavy chain, 2 heavy chain and 2 light chain. That in the book picture is given. We'll have a look at that picture also, and then we'll see the antibody, the types of antibody that is given in your book. Types of antibodies are IgA, IgM, IgE, IgG. These are the types of antibodies. In your book picture is given, and we'll see the picture also. You can follow the same thing. It is an antigen binding site. I said no, the disulfide bond. This picture you can follow, or that picture also can follow and write the points. Okay, now we will see about the different types of antibodies. We'll see the different types of antibodies. That is IgG. Here it is given IgG, IgE, IgD, IgA. These are the different defense mechanism in your body. It is present. IgM. See, Ig antibody classification. Ig is nothing but immunoglobulins. Ig is immuno. That is what Ig. Okay, first it's given about IgG. See, IgG plays an important role against all bacterial infections, bacteria, viral, all pathogens. It is active against all pathogenic organism, and it is only antibody that it is transferred from the placenta to the newborn, from the placenta it will be transferred. Newborn infant will be rich in this antibody IgG. And then the next one is IgE. IgE plays a significant role during allergy formation, and it also fight against worms. And we saw the natural killer cells. I told you natural killer cells. It is otherwise known as a cytotoxic immune cell. What happens here? This worms will be just coated with the IgE. When it is coated with IgE, the cytotoxic immune cells will feel very delicious, and they will destroy completely the worms. So it fights against the worms and plays a significant role in allergy formation also. And IgD, it also interacting with the mast cells and hypersensitivity reaction. So a significant role at the time of allergy, interacts with the mast cells during the time of allergy. It plays a significant role. And IgM is the largest, I can say, of the immunoglobulin, and the smallest is IgG. Smallest of the immunoglobulin is IgG, and IgM, it is otherwise known as a macroglobulin. It is the largest, and it's present on the surface cells of the B cells. Surface cells of the B cells. And then IgA. IgA is otherwise known as secretory antibodies. It is present in all secretions, present in mother's milk, saliva, mucus, tears, all are rich in this antibody IgA. And it is also effective against all pathogenic organisms. And then these are the types of the antibodies. Then we'll see the two types of responses, acquired immune responses. Two types. Antibodies are found in the blood. If the antibodies are found in the blood, the response is known as a humoral immune response. Humor means blood. So antibodies found in the blood, the response known as humoral immune response, and this is one type of acquired immune response. The second, this is antibody mediated. Antibody mediated. Okay. The second type is cell mediated immunity. In the cell mediated immunity, T lymphocytes mediate cell mediated immunity. So T lymphocytes plays an important role, and this T lymphocytes mediate cell mediated immunity. Here I must say something about organ transplantation. We have heard about organ transplantation. Human organs like heart, eye, liver, kidney, all or transplanted, taken from some other people, donor they say, or a graft from any source, human to human. It will not, the body will reject a foreign source. So before transplantation, tissue matching, blood grouping are very essential before any graft or transplantation. Even after that, the patient will, the patient will show rejection. That is because of your immune system. It can recognize. Okay, the body will be able to differentiate self, your self antigen and non-self. And this cell mediated immunity plays a significant role for this graft rejection. So only the transplanted patient will be given immunosuppressive drugs to suppress the immune system. Otherwise, if its effect is too much, it is very dangerous for the patient. So in this, the cell mediated immunity plays a significant role because it will be able to recognize the self and the non-self, and it shows rejection. Okay, so that is very important. Then I will explain to you about active immunity and passive immunity. See, active immunity, first of all. Active, we'll see. When a host is exposed to antigen, which may be in the form of living or dead microbes or any other antigenic proteins, our antibodies are produced. The host body produces antibodies to encounter. Okay, this type of immunity is called active immunity. That is what is a kind of immunized vaccination. When it's exposed to antigen, when they voluntarily, that is known as active immunity. It is slow. It is slow and takes time to give its full effective response. So that is active immunity. Then injecting the microorganism deliberately during immunization. That's what I said, immunization. That is, we deliberately introduce the microbes in a weakened form or infectious organism gaining access into body during natural infection. That also will induce active immunity. So we will get that immunity. Okay, so that is also active immunity. But when ready-made antibodies are directly given to protect the body against foreign agents or pathogens, that is known as passive immunity. That is known as passive immunity. So, examples for passive immunity, that two things. Actually, active immunity is induced in human body or the host body by two things. How we get, that is, I said, injecting microorganism or infectious organism gaining access into your body. That will, all these two things will give active immunity in our body. Passive immunity when ready-made things. So, what are the examples for passive immunity? Is mother's milk. You know very well, the yellowish fluid or colostrum that is secreted by mother during the initial days of lactation is very rich in antibody. Already we saw about the different types of antibody, that is IgA, to protect the infant baby. And the fetus also receives some antibodies from the mother through the placenta during pregnancy. Okay, that is also some example for passive immunity. These two are some examples for passive immunity. Then we'll see about vaccination and immunization. Vaccination and immunization. Same thing, it's that vaccination, you know very well, it's based on the property of memory. First itself, we saw that our immune system has got a memory. Vaccination, it's based upon memory. Okay, what happens in vaccination? Vaccination, what they have, preparation of antigenic protein of pathogen, that particular pathogenic protein, or inactivated pathogen or weakened pathogen, or introduced into the body. Then what happens when it is introduced in our body? The antibodies will be produced in our body against these antigens. They will neutralize the pathogenic agents during active infection. So they neutralize means it becomes inactive. So the vaccination also generate memory. Okay, that is important. So recognize the pathogen quickly. You know very well, recognize B and T cells plays a significant role. So they recognize the pathogen quickly on subsequent exposure and overwhelm the invaders completely. They will be produced, a large production of antibodies will be produced and completely destroy. They will destroy the invaders. That is the meaning for that. So vaccination, when it is given, so this is what takes place in vaccination. What vaccination contains? It contains the antigenic proteins of a pathogen or inactivated pathogen or a weakened pathogen. Immediately our antibody production will be high and it will be too much, that will be weakened, our antibodies will be strong. So these antigen our antibody will be very strong against these antigen to neutralize the pathogen. So B cells and T cells play a significant role in this, and our the pathogen quickly on subsequent exposure, our antibodies will be produced in large numbers, the large production of antibodies, and completely destroy the pathogens invaders. That is what has been taking place in immunization, vaccination. And there are kinds of vaccination also. This is what generally done. We can see some pictures of this vaccination. MMR, this you know, the child is born immediately after 3 months or 4 months, it will be given one by one MMR. And this is a different thing. If a person is infected with some deadly microorganism to which quick immune response, immediately you have to, is required. This TT, that is tetanus toxoid, we need to directly inject the preformed, already it will be done, it will be prepared, preformed antibodies or antitoxin. That is in the case of snake bite, snake venom antiserum. Snake bites also, injection is preformed antibodies against the snake venom. Okay, this is passive immunization. That one is active. This is the passive immunization, ready-made, immediately, quick immune response. Because sometimes that needs booster doses and all, vaccination, active. This immediate quick immune response in the case of TT and snake venom, the snake against a particular preformed antibodies against the snake venom. These are the passive immunization. Okay, then And nowadays, biotechnology, that is recombinant DNA technology, has allowed the production of antigenic polypeptides of viruses and other yeast, bacteria, and other cell. And because of this recombinant DNA technology, we have produced hepatitis B vaccine. Based upon this technology, hepatitis B vaccine have been produced from yeast cell. Okay, so that is a modern thing, and recombinant DNA technology is always known as biotechnology. You can see the vaccine produced using this approach, that is hepatitis B vaccine produced from yeast, production of antigenic polypeptides of pathogen in bacteria and yeast. And we'll stop till here, and I will just again I'll be dealing with allergies and autoimmunity and other AIDS, cancer and all in the next class. See, so far what we have seen in this lesson, you have to take down the questions, whatever I say, which you have to learn, and in the WhatsApp also I will I will contact you in the WhatsApp also. And this particular human health and diseases, first we saw bacterial infections and fungal infections. See, a brief thing about Salmonella typhi. I want about Salmonella typhi, and about pneumonia, Entamoeba histolytica. That is when I took class, I showed my picture. Okay, the causative agent, route of entry, everything. Particular disease, if you take, I want the symptoms, route of entry, causative agent, severe cases, what happens, how it spreads, target organ, everything. Okay, what are the symptoms? This is make a note for Salmonella typhi, pneumonia, Entamoeba histolytica, ascariasis, and then in innate immunity, you just read all the 4 barriers. Innate immunity, all the 4 barriers, and then I will give you the rest of the things in my next class, and I will contact on the WhatsApp also. I will give some other homework in the WhatsApp also, which you can follow. Okay, children. Thank you, children. Have a good day.